I'm Scott Kushner. I'm the head baseball coach and assistant athletic director at Centenary University. Well, with the addition of this beautiful facility, it's changed what has probably been our most glaring weakness as a program for many years into clearly our greatest strength right now. We have gone from really kind of having to scramble and struggle for a consistent place to practice, much less a place to play, for years, and that has ramifications, negative ramifications in terms of the experience, in terms of recruiting, player development, and also academically, because it just puts such a greater strain on our student athletes. And moving away from that into having this beautiful, $3 million turf facility right here on campus, it makes it easier for recruiting. It makes it easier to develop our players and our team. It just eases the load on the players while we're in season and practicing and playing games, and it's been an absolute godsend. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the personalities. I enjoy the challenges. It's not easy managing the egos, the personalities, and just the difficulties inherent in being a coach and being competitive and wanting to win and having to overcome all those adversities. But everybody faces that, and all these players do. And I get a real energy, and it's a great excitement when you can help guys overcome those personal challenges, and we can all get to a better place as a program. Oh man, we've had so many great players come through here. Despite all our challenges, we were still able to attract some very good talent, and even more so guys that were willing to work and put in an awful lot, not just on the field but off it as well, to be the best they could. Off the top of my head, I was lucky that I inherited a guy like Mike Fasano, who was just an absolute physical monster, but it took, in his last couple of years, you saw a real maturation in terms of not just his work ethic. He was always a hard worker, but how he could kind of channel it to getting the most out of his on-field performances. A little bit later, we had, we had a tremendous class, a huge class of 2015, and in that class, we had a couple of really, really special players. One of whom was Joe Forcellini, who was a player of the year in the conference as a sophomore. Was one of the top hitters in the country as a junior. I think he was 5th in the nation in average. But not only was he a great player and atop many of our record books, I think he still has the career hit record here at Centenary. But he was one of those guys that just was an outstanding worker off the field, a great student. He was a first-year leader on this campus, and led by example. And wasn't someone that necessarily talked a lot, but when he spoke, he commanded the respect of his teammates and his peers. So he was tremendous, and one of his teammates was Ryan Caparoni, who he had kind of the more slow and steady progress, where he came in as a first baseman and was willing to convert to an outfielder his freshman year so he could get a little bit more playing time, and that experience early on really helped him to grow, and he got better as a sophomore. He was all conference as a junior. By the time he was a senior, he was player of the year in the conference and our first All-American. So just that progression there as well. And of course, he also grew up very much from a boy to a young man there, and is now having a successful career as a police officer. The CSAC, it's gone through some changes over the years, but one thing that has remained constant, for better or worse, is that we have always been setting our sights on Keystone. They are a perennial powerhouse, not just in our conference, but in the region and in Division III, and it really forces us to set our sights high, because to knock them off is going to take some doing. But I think we are actually set up really well now, with this facility in particular, to actually attract the kind of talent and to really grow our team in a way that can topple them. Right now, also in the conference, we have some relatively new additions in Wilson, who showed some really good promise in their early seasons, and we'll see how they develop with time. But they seem like they have some things going very well for them. Cairn has really grown over the years and has really become a very competitive team as well. And of course the rest of the conference, it really remains up to those programs to see if they can kind of get in the mix as well as a playoff contender and possibly a championship contender. We feel like we're very much in that mix already, and of course, we're just waiting for that opportunity to take on Keystone or whoever it is in a championship and hopefully unseat them. Well, I think any coach, if they're being totally honest, of course, the first thing we really do care about is talent. If a player can't play the game, I don't care, how hard a worker, how nice they are, they're not going to be able to cut it at this level. Of course, I also want those things as well, and I think we're at a point now in our program's evolution that we can afford to be very selective and very picky. So talent alone will not get you on this team. Talent alone will not get you a starting job or anything like that. You really need to have the combination of talent and work ethic and a great attitude, and of course you need to pair all that with, or at least parallel it with the work ethic and attitude that you have in the classroom, and really just as a citizen around this campus when you represent our team, because you always will be representing Centenary Baseball if you're part of this program.